All right, live from the S.STREET Media headquarters in Queens, New York, brings you another episode of The Real Leel Show, where I give my unique takes on the latest news going on in the world of sports and pop culture. In this episode, I will be breaking down David Griffin's comments on LeBron James, giving my top 10 players over the age of 35. I will be giving training camp updates, etc. But with that being said, I think it's about that time that we get this show on the road. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start off with my Real Leel blog for the week. All right? So, I did my blog on Carmelo, right? This is going to be on the Real Fans Will Talk website by the night. So, you can definitely check that out once this video concludes. But I am going to talk about Carmelo Anthony in this blog. And it's how fitting that I wrote this blog yesterday, and then the brother appeared on ESPN on First Take with Stephen A. Smith to talk about, his issues and why he's not signed yet. So everything worked out in time. I guess I saw the future. You could call me Mr. Nostradamus. But anyway, this is what I have to say. All right, my blog is called Once Upon a Time in the NBA. As you all know, there's a movie out right now called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I said, you know what? Let me take that title and give an NBA version. So, Once Upon a Time in the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, just like the new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in the NBA was a superstar known as Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony, this present day, remains unsigned. Carmelo Anthony was no doubt one of the great elite players in the NBA, one of the most prolific scorers in the NBA at one point. The Syracuse University sensation seemed to be one of the I ain't going that far. Seemed to be one of the great ISO players of his time playing in the NBA. An average about 20 points per game, a little over 20 points per game, basically his entire career, except for the last 2 seasons. Right? The debacle in OKC, the debacle in Houston. Olympic Melo was a great Melo, as he outshined most of his team. All right? Most of his Team USA counterparts. However, there's a saying, nothing lasts forever. And Melo game, it wasn't translating into the NBA anymore. Things change. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop. Some of these old cats or OGs, they, the GOATs of their time, but they have a hard time adjusting to the new era of rap, because obviously, it's the mumble rap era. You know what I'm saying? It's like David, the guy that be like, let's get ready to rumble. Well, guess what? Mumble rap. Let's get ready to mumble rap. That's basically what it is. So, sometimes it's hard to adjust to the new age. But with that being said, it was hard for Carmelo Anthony's game to translate into the NBA, right? And if Melo wanted to sustain longevity in the game, he would have to alter his game. But Melo refused. He refused. Shortly after being traded to the Thunder, OKC, he was asked to change his role and come off the bench, right? When this was brought up at the press conference, Melo said, "Who, me?" When the reporter asked if he wanted to come off the bench, if he ever thought about coming off the bench, he was like, "Who, me?" He gave the look, "Who, me?" And then he went on to say, "AP, they say I gotta come off the bench," while he was laughing. Yep, all that happened. Well, Melo's right. He's not gonna be coming off the bench. Why? Because the brother is at home watching the league from home right now. Maybe Melo looked at players currently playing in the NBA like LeBron James, right? Maybe he looked at LeBron James. Sometimes you can look into other people's corner, right? Maybe he looked at LeBron James, his fellow friend, right? His fellow NBA counterpart when he was in the league, and said, you know what? If LeBron James is lasting this long, maybe I can last this long, right? Maybe he thought that. Sometimes it's just good to stay in your lane and focus on you and what you need to do to help your teammates win. Obviously, in the beginning of your career, in any career, pretty much, right? Radio, Sports in particular, sometimes it's all about you. You got to get your name designated in the headlines. You got to make a name for yourself. You got to get your paycheck. But there comes a point in time when you're in the league, when you grow up, where you be like, you know what? Maybe it shouldn't be about me anymore. Maybe it should be about my teammates, my co-hosts, this and that, my workmates. Maybe I should do what's best for us as a collective group and not just the individual. You see, somebody like Zion Williamson right now, he can afford to be the Melo of now, right? The Melo of Melo's whole career. Zion Williamson. He's just got into the league. All these, he just got signed with Jordan Brand. He got all this money. He got all the headlines. I mean, people that don't even watch the Pelicans gonna be watching the Pelicans next year. He could go out there and try to average 20 and 10 a game and try to be that monster, and he could do that. He can have that mentality. But it's gonna come a time in his career where it's gonna have to be about his teammates, and that's what it should have been with Melo for the last couple of years. But it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Chauncey Billups, right? Chauncey Billups, Melo's former teammate, a couple weeks ago, or probably a month ago, said that scoring 30 meant too much to Melo. Billups went on to say he hasn't taken the approach to say, maybe I'll come in and I'll play against the backups. Melo's trainer, right? And that was his teammate right there too. And I totally agree. He haven't accepted that fact. But anyway, Melo's trainer, Charles Barkley. That ain't nowhere near. Charles Barkley, the trainer himself. But you know what, Charles Barkley, you my dude. You my guy, man. But Melo's trainer, Chris Brickley, went on the Breakfast Club advocating for a farewell tour for him. My question here is, why should teams go out their way to give Melo a farewell tour when he didn't want to go out his way to help a team by coming off the bench? You know why. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know why Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki was able to have a farewell tour? They was able to have a farewell tour because they came off the bench, right? They came a point in time where they was no longer the stars. They had to come off the bench, and they accepted the fact, and that's why they had a farewell tour. Do you know why? Injury-prone D. Rose, who suffered disastrous injuries, it felt like the brother was going to come out the locker room and get injured. Do you know why he's still in the league? Because he came off the bench. He came off the bench, in which he was able to prove that he still got it and got another shot on the Pistons. Remember that game when he scored 50 points per game? He improved his three-point shooting. Yeah, it's not the most glorious, staggering numbers. It's only about 37% from the free throw, from the three-point line, but it's still better than what it was his entire career. So he changed his game a little bit because Derrick Rose is a guy who was aggressive. He attacks the basket hard. So obviously, you're going to be prone to injuries, and when an injury-prone guy like Derrick Rose, he changed his game to some degree, and that's why he's still in the league. And that's why when D. Rose decided that he probably want a farewell tour, he probably will get one. Vince Carter, he decided to come off the bench. He came off the bench to be the veteran and the veteran team leader that his team needs. Best believe for sure Vince Carter will get himself a farewell tour. If Melo did that, if Melo did all that, when he had the chance, he would be having a farewell tour. Reports are now saying that Melo could wind up signing a one-day contract to retire with the Knicks. A one-day contract. Wow. Life really changes that quick, huh? Let me get this straight. I like Melo. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy Melo came to New York, to the Knicks, to lead us to the playoffs. Get that little experience that what we got. I'm happy he did. Because at the end of the day, MSG is built for stars. It's not built for no-name dudes, all right? It's built for stars. And Carmelo was once that star that, took us to the playoffs. So I'm happy we had him. I'm happy. He brought joy to the city for a certain degree, for a certain amount of time. I do believe Melo was scapegoated for the Rockets' issues. That is true. As one anonymous source came out yesterday and said he was scapegoated, right? Stephen A. Smith, he interviewed Carmelo today on First Take, and in which Melo said he never asked for a farewell tour, but rather his skills is why he should be on at least one 15-man roster out of 30 teams in the NBA. That is true. I'll give him that. Melo he also stated today on First Take that he is willing to come off the bench if need be to help a team win. But is it too late for that? Brother, you had time to digest that when you was on OKC. Now you want to go on First Take and plead your case. My brother, you had the chance to come off the bench. But is it too late? Is a team going to be able to reach out to you? Because the Lakers, it was talks that the Lakers wanted you, right? Obviously, if they were in playoff contention, he would have been on the Lakers with his friend LeBron James. It didn't work out. We already know what happened with the Lakers, that debacle, that circus, whatever you want to call it, the LA circus. Now he wasn't picked up. There even was reports that came out yesterday as well that the Knicks was able to land the 2 free agents, right? That he would have been called to, come on the team and be that next part, right? Obviously, that ain't happened. So now, Melo, you put yourself in a predicament where a team is only going to reach out to you if they need you. So you're going to have to sit tight throughout the season, and if a team needs you, you will get the call. But if the team don't need you, you can't blame nobody but Melo. You know what I'm saying? My brother, I don't want to air out Melo like this. I know people may seem like I'm airing this brother out. I have respect for Melo, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Melo has been selfish throughout his whole career. Whether it was on the court, whether it was off the court with Lala. And I'm not trying to get into the boy personal business, but when you're a celebrity, I mean, your life is everybody's personal business. But you're cheating with Lala. I mean, my brother, you need to take a step back in all assets of life. You know what I'm saying? But look, having talent is great. But being humble, like Kendrick Lamar say, be humble. Being humble is what's going to get you a farewell tour, my brother. So that's my real little blog for the week. Dealing with Melo and why Melo is not in the league. The real little show actually starts right now. So to dive into everything that I just said, once again, I wrote this blog before the interview came today, the interview on First Take today. So I was a little bit ahead of the curve. So, I really want to talk about the interview. I thought it was a good interview. I think Stephen A. Smith did a good job. I woke up in the morning, I turned the TV on the First Take, and I saw Melo. I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? How convenient. But obviously the brother, from what I saw in the interview, he seems more reluctant, right? He seems more, he talked about a time where, when all this was happening, that he felt like he got fired. Obviously, he did get fired, you know what I'm saying? Well, not totally fired, but he felt like he got fired. He felt like, he wasn't communicated with. He thought it was the politics, right? Listen, and it's a humbling experience for Melo because whether you're a famous celebrity or not, you all gonna have that reality check at one point in your life, right? Famous, non-famous. I had reality checks in my life where I'm like, damn, okay, I gotta be humbled. Melo had his reality check where he was like, damn, I should have came off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he comes back in the league, he's gonna be coming off the couch. It's just how life works. Sometimes you got to be humble. You know what I'm saying? You got to be humble. Humble people, I mean, yeah, it's good to have all the talent in the world, but humble people, I feel, is what's going to get farther. Why? Because guess what? When you're not humble, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But that's my thoughts on Melo on the interview. You know what I'm saying? Once again, perfect interview. Definitely check it out if you have the time after this show concludes, that is. Because, you got to watch the real little show before you watch First Take. I know First Take is on mainstream, but damn it, not everybody on underground gets the love that they properly deserve. So you know what? After the real little show concludes, definitely check out the interview with Stephen A. Smith and Melo on First Take. Now, I want to get into, you see, every time I talk about this brother named LeBron James, you know what I'm saying? I seem to lose followers. Every time I talk about LeBron James, I seem to lose followers, But it's not because I am an anti-LeBron James. Listen, everything LeBron James has done in his career, I back with him 100%. As far as the impact that he had on the NBA, the impact that he has on social issues, I ride with that brother. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, if it looks like a duck and cracks like a duck, damn it, it's a damn duck. All right? David Griffin recently came out with comments yesterday. I'm going to read you those comments right now as I have everything prepared. So the pressure, this is what he said. The pressure of annually supplementing LeBron James with a contending roster mounted endlessly. Everything we did was so inorganic and unsustainable and frankly not fun. I was miserable, Griffin says. Literally, the moment we won the championship, I fell to tears. Wow. He said he fell to tears. I knew I was going to leave. There was no way I was going to stay for any amount of money. Listen, people do anything for a dollar bill these days. So if the brother wanted to go for any amount of money, that must tell you something about LeBron James. I didn't watch the league, and I didn't love the game anymore. I was so fixated on the outcome that I just totally lost my joy. I understand where this brother is coming from, 100%. I do. Because sometimes you are so fixated on being the best, being better than other people that you actually lose the joy that you have for your own career. You know what I'm saying? It recently happened to me. I was like, you know what? I wish I had this. I wish this show, I could have did better on this show. And sometimes you get so caught up in the pressure that you actually lose the joy of being on the air. That happened to me a couple weeks ago. How ironic. Everything is just happening right now. I feel like it was meant for me to be here, ladies and gentlemen. So I had to sit down and be like, you know what? Not every day you're going to have a good episode. Not every day is going to be, you're going to get the respect that you deserve. It's life. You know what I'm saying? You got to work at it. So basically, when it comes to David Griffin and his comments on LeBron James, it just basically goes back to what I was saying all along, what I've been saying for the last couple of years, but nobody wanted to listen to me until God started coming out the woodwork. LeBron James is a guy that for a fan base, right, he could be their best dream, right? Oh, LeBron James is coming to town. He's coming on a donkey. He's leading us to the playoffs and to the championship, because not only the playoffs, that you thinking when it comes to LeBron James, you think of finals, at least a finals appearance. So everybody's like, it's lit. But LeBron James, worst nightmare. I mean, the coach's worst nightmare, the owner's worst nightmare is having a guy like LeBron James on the team. You know why in Hollywood, why a lot of people is rich, they in the top 5 percentile, whatever they want to call it. You know why they not happy? You know why they committing suicide? You know why some of them will commit suicide? I'm not saying, I'm not trying to put that out there. I'm not trying to give nobody ideas, but I'm just saying what it is. You know why? Because guess what? Winning is not everything. Money is not everything. And sometimes it comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So with LeBron James, yeah, you winning. You go to a championship. But championship is not supposed to be the only thing. Obviously, dudes is going to be unhappy. Obviously, some people's going to get kicked to the curve. You know how many players are homeless right now because of LeBron James, working at a car wash because of LeBron James? A lot. You know how many coaches LeBron James got fired? David Blatt. I mean, I could go on and on and on. You know how many coaches LeBron James got fired? I mean, this brother is running dudes out of jobs. And you sitting here supposed to tell me because LeBron James is on the team, he's supposed to be, dancing like it's a daggone carnival in the Caribbean. No. All right? So, obviously, I understand what this brother is saying. And why he was so stressed out. Because when everything goes right, LeBron James, you're the GOAT. You're the best player in the world. Let's bow down to the king. But when stuff goes wrong, yo, Max, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's not LeBron James' fault. It's everybody else's fault but LeBron James. When his ship is sailing, it's the Royal Caribbean. When his ship is sinking, it's the daggone Titanic. And it's somebody else's fault, not LeBron James. I mean, that's the pressure. That's the pressure. And I've been said this. I knew LeBron James was going to L.A. I said it before all these radio hosts started saying it, before all the speculation was saying everything. I said LeBron James, right? LeBron, he was going to L.A. And guess what? LeBron James went to L.A. Why? Because it wasn't about winning anymore. And that's what another thing that David Griffin alluded to. Once LeBron James won that championship, it wasn't about winning no more. It was about sustaining the legacy, and going to Hollywood, getting movie deals. And it's obviously true. When you make history like LeBron James made history that year when they beat a 73-win team to bring Cleveland his first championship after a long championship drought, I mean, sometimes once you hit the pinnacle of a career, where else is it to go from here? You know what I'm saying? It's like the song Crawl by Chris Brown. Where do we go from here? I mean, where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? When you hit the highest level of success, I mean, you start getting bored. You know what I'm saying? Where do I go from here? So honestly, I knew David Griffin was coming with that. I knew LeBron James was going to go to L.A. because it was not about basketball anymore. It was about establishing business deals, setting your family off straight, and all that things that comes with being in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Palm trees, the Staples Center, celebrities. Yo, what's good, Denzel Washington? Hey, what's good? You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. Jack Nicholson in the crowd is exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? But David Griffin went on ESPN today. He went on a jump. I haven't got to see the full interview. I saw a snippet of it while I was on the train on my way here. So I got to check that out in full. But from what I heard, he tried to double down in the comments. And I'm just saying, my brother, it is what it is. It is what it is. We all know it. We all know it. Some of us don't want to know it, but we all know it. You know what I'm saying? But he did make sense. You know, winning doesn't cure everything. You know what I'm saying? Being rich doesn't cure everything. There's some people I know, all right, that's living check to check, that are happier than people that is out here throwing money at strippers in Las Vegas. That's just what it is. But another report with LeBron James is that went around this week. You know, I seen people outside of sports, like, you know, Hot 97, Randy Williams, a lot of other people was talking about. And that's, you know, him at his son's game, you know, taking the ball and dunking all over the place, you know. And what I think about it is, at first I was going to sit here and be like, you know, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Let your son actually go out there and do what he has to do. Why are you taking over the game for? You're a grown man, you know, stay out of it. But at the same time, knowing how LeBron James haven't had a fatherhood, you know what I'm saying? We still don't know who the brother father is to this day. I mean, I still want to know. I mean, I've been trying to do research on the low, came to no conclusion. I don't know who this brother father is, all right? So, I mean, maybe he didn't have that. Well, obviously he didn't have the father in his life. Maybe he want to do that for his son. Maybe. But sometimes people could be so ego-driven that, I mean, whether you at higher games, you know, your regular games, whether you at lower kids games, you always have to have the spotlight. So why are you still in the spotlight from a bunch of 12 and 15 or however year olds? I mean, come on. Do you really need the spotlight on you wherever you go? So do you go to your kids' talent show when, you know, when they out there performing or whatever, if they perform, and you go over there and take the mic and sing, you know, act like your usher? You gonna do that too? I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it's that deep like how Whitlock was going off, like you trying to steal his son's spotlight. I don't think it's like that, because obviously I believe LeBron James loves his son, but I think it's more of, you know, ego. You know, look at me. And sometimes parents could do that. Parents could pimp out their kids. Parents could, you know, take some of the shine. And I think LeBron James is trying to do that to a certain degree, but honestly, that's just how I see it, man. If I'm LeBron James, man, let your son do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Let your son get to the NBA, and then, you know, when your son gets to the NBA, because there's talks that I heard a long time ago that LeBron James want to retire when his son, you know, he wants to play at least 1 year with his son. So then you get to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Leave these little kids alone. Let them actually make a name for themselves and actually get into the league so they can be able to make money like you, or, you know, to a certain degree, and move on. That's what I got to say about it. But anyway, I want to move on to the next topic here on the agenda, which is, all right, so the top 100 list came out, and, you know, they had a couple quarterbacks that was on this list. Now, obviously, quarterbacks get a lot of love. So I got a lot to say about the list. Number 2, right? Number 2 was Drew Brees. Number 4 was Mahomes. Number 6 was Tom Brady. Rodgers was number 8. Phillip Rivers, number 17. Andrew Luck, number 20. 25, Russell Wilson. And that's, I ain't going to go through this whole list. But, it, you know, if y'all saw the list by now, y'all know, you know, the order of which the list is. Now, the question is, and this is a list, if y'all haven't known, where the players that are currently playing, they vote on this list. They vote, you know, from 1 to 100, the best players in the league. And it's the players that's actually doing this. Not the fans. It's not the coaches. It's the players. So what was notable about it was, I'm going to start off with Tom Brady, the GOAT, the golden boy. He was ranked number 6 on this list. Now, I don't know people were members, but this brother just won a Super Bowl. The brother, at the age of 41, is still playing like he's at the age of 25. I mean, yeah, he isn't throwing as much yards as he used to in the past. Yeah, he's not throwing as much touchdowns as he did in 07 when he threw 50 touchdowns. But the brother is still producing at a high level. The brother is still making good plays, and he's still finding a way to win. And he should be in the top 5, in my honest opinion. Drew Brees was ranked a little bit higher. Now, I'm a Drew Brees guy. But I thought he was ranked a little high. Ranked number 2, Drew Brees, to me, he was having a good year. He was having an MVP caliber year. And then he looked old in the second half of the season at a certain point. He started to look old. The Saints offense started to stagger a little bit. And he wasn't making some of the throws, the deep throws that we know him to make. You know, he showed old age towards the end of the season. So I thought with that and everything else, he was ranked a little bit too high. Top 10 would have been the best. Like where Brady was ranked, number 6. I could have dig that. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes ranked number 4. Obviously, Pat Mahomes was the MVP. He threw for a lot of touchdowns this year, a lot of yards. He should have been higher than Drew Brees. He should have been number 2, actually. You know, and I do agree with Aaron Donald, obviously, but we only dissecting, you know, the quarterbacks here. So I thought they got it wrong. I thought it should have been Mahomes, the highest rated quarterback, then Drew Brees, and then Tom Brady. No. Mahomes, Brady, and then Drew Brees. So they should have they got it opposite ways. And they had it Brees, Mahomes, Brady. It should have been Mahomes, Brady, Brees. That's how I think about it. Another notable thing, I mean, pretty much everything, you know, else is pretty much good. I think they ranked Kirk Cousins a little bit higher than what I expected at 78. We already know Kirk Cousins, the $84 million man, only to not make the playoffs. I got on this brother, all right? I got on this brother on my show long time ago when they didn't make the playoffs. I aired this brother out. I aired him out like a football. So I thought he was ranked a little higher because with all that talent on your team, Stephon Diggs, a little injured Cook, but he was still available at times. Kyle Rudolph, a good tight end, a decent defense. I thought they should have made the playoffs. I thought they had a team that's capable of actually making it to the Super Bowl, mindless not making the playoffs. After Case Keenum, who's battling for a job, was able to get them to the NFC Championship game, you can't even get them to the playoffs. I thought he was ranked a little bit higher than I expected. You know what I'm saying? Cam Newton was ranked a little bit low. That was shocking as well, but it's not that shocking because he has regressed since that MVP year. Now, obviously he had the shoulder injury. Hopefully he could rebound from that and come back strong and come back the same way how he was an MVP when he won the MVP. Obviously he's going to be limited with the shoulder. Hopefully that don't become a big factor. But yeah, Cam Newton has declined a little bit, and we have questions here. There's some people still riding that train. I see the potential, but there is a lot of questions that comes with Cam Newton, and I want to see if he can answer that question. Can he sit there in the pocket and make the throws that he needs to make? You already know he's a dangerous force, all right? But he's almost used like Barry Sanders as a running back, and that's something Lamar Jackson is going to be used as, and I just don't see it, how a quarterback like that will be Barry Sanders. But hey, it is what it is. Another notable thing here is Baker Mayfield ranked at number 50 over Deshaun Watson, that's ranked number 51. Now, I think that's right. But a lot of people will sit here and say, well, Deshaun Watson, obviously, some people will take Deshaun Watson. To me, this is up in the air, but the way how Baker Mayfield came onto the scene last year, almost throwing for 4,000 yards, 3,900 something to be exact. He could have won the MVP, not the MVP. Could have won Rookie of the Year. Obviously, was running up to Saquon. He had a good year, and he's gonna have a lot of weapons. And I think they got it right. I think Deshaun Watson, I won't say he took a step back. In the beginning of the year, he took a step back, but once he got back after that knee injury, once he started playing games, they went on the streak. So I think that's interesting. But that is a good debate. Deshaun Watson, who would you rather take? Deshaun Watson to start your team, or would you rather take Baker Mayfield? In all actuality, I'll be fine with any of those quarterbacks, but I would go with Baker Mayfield because the brother know how to spread the ball out a lot, and he does have more weapons than Deshaun Watson, to his credit, even though Deshaun Watson had DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see. But overall, this list, I wasn't too mad at the list. I thought Brady should have been ranked in the top 5. I thought Mahomes should have been the highest rated quarterback. And I did think they got it right with Aaron Donald being number 1. But now, what I want to get into, because I don't want to stay on that topic a lot. But now I want to have some fun. It's a long time. It's been a long time, all right? It's been a long time since I had fun. Right? Not saying I don't have fun, but since I, brought out my rankings, because normally in other shows, especially when I was on Mike and Leel Keeping It Real, I always like to do rankings. You know, it's something about ranking things from 1 to 10. You know, yeah, I don't like to compare people, but at the same time, I like to compare people. I like to do rankings. You know what I'm saying? It brings the debate. It brings the debate. It brings the interest. So you know what? I'm gonna take a page out of my own book. I'm gonna go back to that. I'm gonna do some rankings right now. All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rank the top 10 players in history of any sport over the age of 35. Over the age of 35, right? So while I pull up this list right now, definitely, I don't want it to be no dead air because I thought I had everything right in front of me. Subscribe to the channel when this video go out on YouTube and stuff like that, and let me know what you think about all the topics that I discussed so far. That sort, and what you think about these interviews that took place today as I start to get up the work that I had here. I don't know what happened. It just mysteriously disappeared, but we're gonna bring it up. I don't want no dead air right now. So if I gotta sing la 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 la, I'm gonna sing la 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 la. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? So in this list, there's a lot that goes into this list, obviously, because we dealing with the people that are over the age of 35 in any sport. This includes whether it's soccer, baseball, all that. I mean, you name it. We're gonna dive into it right now. All right. I don't know right what's going on right now, but I'm gonna start it off. So when you're over the age of 35, right, you start to see a decline in your play. You know what I'm saying? You start to see a big decline in your play. As I get this thing right now, let me see. I had everything ready. It's unbelievable, y'all. It's unbelievable. All right, here we go. I'm ready to go. So when you're at the age of 35, right, you have these players, these transcendent players like Tom Brady, like Venus and all that stuff. That, Father Time ain't no joke. When it's your time, when it's Father Time is practically almost undefeated. It's about like 97, 98%. All right, almost like the FBI conviction rate. It's that high. All right, but you do have a few transcendent players in sports that transcend time, that transcends Father Time. People like Tom Brady. He's doing it right now currently. So this list that I made is for the people that to some degree transcended time. They transcended Father Time. I'm going to start with my top 10 players over the age of 35. At number 10, this brother, at the age of 36, had 82 catches for 1,157 yards and had 9 touchdowns. This dude, a lot of people would say, and I would say I agree, the best wide receiver to ever play the game of football. This brother's name is Jerry Rice. He's ranked number 10. I mean, to have this amount of yards at the age of 36 where receivers start to decline a little bit, to me, he got to be ranked in the top 10. But before I go to number 9, I skipped over the honorable mentions that I had on this list, right? Which is Serena Williams. I thought she could have been on this list. George Foreman could have been on this list. Phil Mickelson could have been on this list. Adam Vinatieri could have been on this list. But the reason why I didn't put Serena Williams on this list was because it was a tough list. And a lot of people, they know that I'm very high on Serena Williams, right? I say Serena Williams is the most dominant athlete in sports over the last decade. Because when it comes to females, there's nobody dominating. Yeah, I know she lost the last couple of years in the finals, but the fact that she can still get to the finals and the fact that she was still dominating for the last decade, to me, she's the most dominant athlete. But when it comes to top 10 players of all time in any sport over the age of 35, she's an honorable mention, and she was close to making the list. At number 9, I got to go with Brett Favre. At the age of 38 years old in 2007, Brett Favre brought the Packers to an NFC Championship game in which they lost to the Giants, who defeated the Patriots that year. So, I mean, the Giants did defeat the undefeated Patriots that year. On the Vikings in 2009, right, he threw for 4,202 yards, 33 touchdowns at the age of 40. Brought the Vikings to a wrong sport. Brought the Vikings to an NFC Championship game and almost pulled it off. He did. He almost pulled it off to be the oldest quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. But we all know he threw that pick against the Saints, which was the height of the heart of Bounty Gate, right? That's why Brett Favre makes my number 9. He makes number 9 on the top 35 players over the age of 35. I mean, top 10 over the age of 35. At number 8, I'm going to go with Tiger Woods. Yes, he went into his cold streak from 2008 without winning a major event, but he recently won the Masters in 2019 at the age of 43. To be honest with you, this is one of the great comeback stories of all time. When you think about it, a guy that was going, that was a force in golf, to only go through that cold streak where it looked like the brother, I don't know what was going on with the brother. We all know about his off-the-field instances or whatever. But the fact that he was able to come back at the age of 43 and win a major, win the Masters, to me, I got to put him up there at number 8. Number 7, I'm going to go with Barry Bonds. Now, the reason why Barry Bonds is not as higher on my list is because we all know the brother was a human steroid. He took steroids. We all know that. So, you know, like I said earlier, if it looks like a duck, it cracks like a duck, it's a damn duck. The brother took steroids. We all know the brother took steroids, but it's just like the Deflategate. The Patriots, they didn't need the deflated footballs. They were going to win the game anyway. They could have played with tennis balls. So even though they deflated the footballs, we all know they was going to win that game anyway. So it's just like with Barry Bonds. Even though he was taking steroids, I knew he didn't need the steroids. So that's why he's number 7 and not higher, because he did take the steroids. So I got to penalize the brother. But we all know, even without the steroids, the brother, he was still good. So, you know, he was a pitcher's worst nightmare. He was a pitcher's worst nightmare. And even though he was cheating and he didn't need to, he was still doing his thing, and he was a pitcher's nightmares. One of the greatest baseball players in the sport. Ranked number 7, Barry Bonds. At number 6, I'm going to go with Roger Clemens. Right? He went 141 and 66 and pitched a 3.38 ERA from the age of 35 on. He striked out 1,709 batters. So obviously, you know, if you were a batter, you knew you was probably going to get striked out. So ranked number 6 was Roger Clemens. So we're gonna go to music break. You want to go to music break?
Never given the music that you wanted to play, but I guess so.
All right, we're gonna go on a music break.
But keep talking.
And when we come back, I'm gonna go through my top 5. So at number 10, to recap the list, I got Jerry Rice. All right. Number 9, I got Brett Favre. At number 8, I got Tiger Woods. At number 7, I got Barry Bonds, despite the cheating, despite the steroids, despite being a human steroid. At number 6, I got Roger Clemens. Now there's a top 5 list coming up, and it's going to be very interesting. A lot of people is going to debate this, because this is actually not my idea. I saw an article that actually had this list, so I just wanted to, I said, you know what, why not get my own list? So I just wanted to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't plagiarize without citing my sources. I learned that from college. I still got to do that. So I had to cite my sources, all right? Which was, I believe it was Sports Illustrated that came out with this list. So that's me citing my sources. You know what I'm saying? But top 5 is going to be interesting. And I know it's going to bring a lot of debates, simply because, people like to debate. Right? Sports is about debating. You know what I'm saying? You have your fan base. You have teams that you dislike, and it's about debating. So we're going to go on a quick music break, and when we come back, I got my top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go nowhere.
I can't even listen to you. You was about as funky as shit on my shoe. Damn. What's a nigga to do? Yo! Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they come to and they don't know what to do. I can't even listen to you. You was about as funky as the shit on my shoe. Damn. What's a nigga to do with all this whack shit they got us listening to? Come on now. All the people are schmucks, cause all these rappers suck. Come on, y'all fucking shit up. Y'all really fucking shit up. Y'all gon' make me spaz and straight fucking shit up. Now I really don't give a fuck. I go bodega on that ass and cold cut your shit out. Yep, I cold cut your shit out. I'm on a roll, don't be jelly when I butter it up. It's crazy. Yo! Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they only two and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they only two and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cut your shit out. Yep, I go cut your shit out. I'm on a roll, don't be jelly when I butter it up. It's crazy. Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cut your shit out. Yep, I go cut your shit out. I'm on a roll, don't be jelly when only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. I can't even listen to you. You was about as funky as the shit on my shoe. Damn, what's the nigga to do with all this whack shit they got us listening to? Come on now. All the people are schmucks, cause all these rappers suck. Come on, y'all fucking shit up. Y'all really fucking shit up. Y'all gon' make me spaz and straight fucking shit up. I really don't give a fuck. Bodega on that ass and cold cut your shit out. Yep, I cold cut your shit out. I'm on a roll, don't be jelly when I butter it up. It's crazy. Yo! Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. Now the DJs, it's so impossibly lost to get a little while they let this cotton shit floss. Y'all the ones popping it off. I could've sworn I told your ass I need to knock the shit off. Knock it off, knock it off. For real, knock the shit off. I'm about to take your head and straight knock the shit off. Knock it off, niggas. Knock the shit off. A matter of fact, I guillotine your shit and chop the shit off. It's crazy. Yo! Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do. Only reason why they fucking with you is cause they 22 and they don't know what to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on a Real Leel show to pretty much wrap up this show. And so where I left off was I was giving my top 10 players over the age of 35 of all time in any sport. So right now I'm gonna finish my top 5. This was a toss-up. This one right here was a toss-up. It could have went either way, but you know this is what it was. At number 5, oh shoot. So actually, I have Serena Williams on this list. So I thought she was an honorable mention, but I actually put Serena Williams on this list. So she's 37 right now. She's still active, and she played and won a Grand Slam with a baby in her stomach. I mean, not a lot of people can actually play a sport with a baby, a living organism in their stomach, and she did it, right? So she's been to a couple finals, you know, in the past couple of years, even though she lost, you know, like the U.S. Open when she got robbed by the Empire who was on speed dial, we all know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that was improving that he was on speed dial, but obviously I thought so because he was taking points like that. She lost at Wimbledon the last 2 years, but the fact that she was able to get there, like I said, it's insurmountable. I mean, this girl is unbelievable. So when it comes to Serena, she is known as dominant. When people think about women's tennis, they think about Serena. If there was a finals at a major without Serena, they think the world was ending. That's how good she is. So Serena Williams is ranked number 5. At number 4, I'm going to stay in tennis, and I'm going to go with Roger Federer at the age of 37, who's still active. So he just had a heartbreaking loss to Djokovic in the first major to go to a tiebreaker to decide the winner. Roger Federer, he was one of the best to do it, and he still is. You know, the fact that he's as old as he is, he's still competing with the likes of Djokovic. He's still competing with the likes of Nadal. The fact that he's able to do that at his age, to me, he got to be ranked up there. He's ranked number 4, and he's one of my favorite tennis players of all time. Even though I had to put bias aside when I was doing this, even though I would say and I would admit there's a lot of players that I like that are on this list. But it wasn't because, you know, it was biased. I mean, I like talent. I like dynasties. I like players that actually bring it. So, you know, this is without the biases. But at number 3, I got to go with my man, Bernard Hopkins, B-Hop, okay? Boxer, you know what I'm saying? The brother was the oldest champion when he defeated Jean Pascal at the age of 46. 46 in boxing. Now, I can understand if it was 46 in tennis, 46 in ping pong, 46 in hopscotch, but 46 in boxing? Oh my gosh. To win a championship, I mean, come on now. 46-year-olds. I mean, some people die of old age at 46 in this generation, all right? So the fact that you're boxing at 46, I got to put you at number 3. And the nerve to win another title at that age of 49. He won a title at the age of 49, ladies and gentlemen. Boxing. I mean, come on. So he retired at the age of 51. I mean, there's guys in other sports that want to retire at the age of 27. And he was able to retire at 51 in boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, it don't get no bigger than that. At number 2, I got to go with my dude, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who won 4 of his 6 titles over the age of 35. He was over 35, and he won 4 of his 6 titles. The brother is on MJ status. MJ has 6 titles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has 6 titles. And he won 4 of the 6 over the age of 35. So, I mean, come on. The number speaks for itself. Had the most unstoppable shot known to man, that hook shot. So, I got to give it to him. He won finals MVP at the age of 38. And he was the first all-team NBA in 86 at the age of 39. Ladies and gentlemen, numbers never lie. It speaks for itself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is ranked number 2. Now, at number 1, ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, I got to go with the golden boy, okay? With Mr. Father. I'm going to just call him Father Time because he is Father Time. Because Father Time didn't get to the brother yet. He's still in the NFL doing what he's doing till this day. Till this day, all right? Just won a Super Bowl. Probably going to win another one. Because this is just how it is. He's dominant. I mean, come on. I know you hate the brother. I know that a lot of people hate the brother because they hate winning. They don't want to see you winning. Kodak Black. Do I need Kodak Black to come up in here and sing that song for me? They don't want to see you winning. They don't want to see this brother because they're jealous of it. First of all, he got a good-looking model wife, okay? He got Giselle, all right? He got all that. He got a mansion by CeeLo Green. I mean, listen, this brother, Tom Brady, has to be number 1, all right? He has to be. So he just won a Super Bowl at that age. 6 rings in total. All right, Brady's statistics since, all right, this is a lot of statistics, so I'm going to try to break this down and make it shorter as possible. But when you're that great, it's going to be hard to do. So let's start right now. Brady's statistics since turning 35 will still rank him 4th all-time in passing yards. This is since he was at 35. Will still rank him 4th all-time in playoff passing yards, which will be 5,284 yards. Now he's 6th in playoff touchdowns, right? Yeah, he's 6th in playoff touchdowns with 34, and 9th in player passing, which is 95.3. And this is since 35, ladies and gentlemen. This is since 35. So not bad for a 6th-round pick. A guy that was eating hot dogs in the early 2000s before Bill Belichick called on him to be who he is today. I mean, the brother has played in more Super Bowls than road games. I repeat, the brother has played in more Super Bowls than road games in the playoffs. All right, and yeah, he lost against the Eagles 2 years ago, right? But guess what? The brother still threw for 505 yards, which was the most yards by any quarterback ever in the sport, in which he broke his own record that he set 2 years prior to when he threw for 435 yards against the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, doing this type of, and there's so much more numbers. The brother got the most playoff wins by any quarterback. The guy got the most home playoff wins by any quarterback. I mean, come on. I'm going to get old and gray. By the time I finish by reading his stats, I'm gonna have gray beard, gray face, or gray hair, whatever. I'm gonna be old because the brother has it all. He's Tom Brady, ladies and gentlemen. He is number 1 of the top 5, the top 10, 30 over the age of 35 of all time. He's number 1. He's number 1. And he's in the crazy part about it, the scary part about it, that the brother still has a chance. He still has a good team. He still has another chance to add to his already cemented resume. You know what I'm saying? So he's ranked number 1. So now to close out this show, you know, obviously I want to give my training camp updates real quickly. As you know, there's a training camp right now. Football season is about to return. I can't wait. Definitely start subscribing because I'm gonna have some new shows up at college on the radio station 90.5 FM, and the Huddle will be back for its final season. And obviously we got the football covered. I mean, listen, for y'all football fans, Christmas is almost here. Christmas is here, even though it's not in December. Because we about to have baseball, basketball going to start. I say around October, November is heaven. October and November is heaven for a sports fan. You got baseball, the playoffs in baseball. You got the NBA season that starts. And you got football that's right at its peak. So, oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, that time is when I start to be happy. You know what I'm saying? I walk around with a smile. People like, what the hell are you smiling for at this particular moment? And I'll just be like, listen, I'm a sports fan. But anyway, Baker Mayfield, he recently got on his teammates, OBJ, the other day, and, you know, he called them out. So a lot of people are saying, you know, pick up Maker, you know, you being a leader, and that's what they need. Some degree, I agree. Yes, these cats, OBJ and Jarvis Landry, especially OBJ. He needs that guy that's going to be able to put him in check because obviously he didn't have it on the Giants when they allowed his brother to be a diva and do whatever he was that he did and then pay him only to move him. My thing is, and I still maintain this to this day, I defend OBJ in this aspect. You don't have, sometimes you have talented people, right? But you have transcendent talented people. He's one of them transcendent talented people. So if you had those type of people, you got to know how to discipline them. And when they, when they run off and you allow them to do so, guess what? Then you want to blame them. But in all actuality, you need to blame the coaching staff. So they allowed this brother to go off. And now I like the fact that Baker Mayfield is getting on him to catch balls and run the perfect routes because he needs that. And even though I question Baker Mayfield's, personality, we in the new era now. Everything is different. Before it was the quiet quarterbacks. They already had the wife at home, so in the bedroom the talking that's when the talking is being done, not on the football field. But these days you have quarterbacks that are now more, let's say, how can I say this? More outgoing, more, it's just different. The vibe is different. They call out their teammates. They have this fiery aspect, they in everything. And Baker Mayfield is leading the trend of the new quarterbacks. So I don't know how it's gonna work. Because we never been down this road before. Especially with a guy of that caliber. So we're going to see how it works. But one thing's for sure. I don't know what's going to go on socially on that team, on the Browns this year. I do believe the Browns is going to be good. I think a lot of people is overrating them. I think the Steelers is still going to win the division. But at the same time, we can't deny Baker Mayfield's play. The brother can sling it. The brother threw for 3,900 something yards, almost 4,000 yards in his rookie year. He's got weapons. He got toys. And guess what? What do kids do when they have toys? They play with it. The brother's going to be just fine. So moving on here, the Giants, obviously, the mystery is still not solved. We don't know how Daniel Jones is going to look, or we have a speculation. Obviously, I covered the draft, the NFL draft, when it happened. When they got Daniel Jones, I almost left. I almost went home because I know what that was. We still don't have an update. Obviously, we're hearing now that Eli Manning is going to be the starter or leading the starter or something like that. And it's just like, all right, then this guy must be terrible because you picked this guy number 6. So he must be terrible. So, and then I'm hearing people that saying he's all right, he got an arm, da-da-da. I don't know. Daniel Jones is a mystery man. And we will find out real soon. So if he is what I think he's going to be, which is a laughing stock, then guess what? We all need to be laughing. But you know what? I'm not a Giants fan. I just was out of New York. But guess what? I got to cover Giants news because guess what? I got to appeal to the New Yorkers. But if he's a laughing stock, I'm going to be laughing on 90.5 FM airwaves when I get back up to school. I'm telling you that right now. So we'll see. The Jets, I think they're going to be a 8-8 team this upcoming season. 8-8, 7-9, 8-8 at best, 7-9 at worst. I think they're going to be a little bit better. I think Le'Veon Bell, the addition of Le'Veon Bell, is going to help them get better. And I do think they're going to be able to compete a little bit in the AFC East. But I still think they're a couple years away. I think they're trending in the right direction. I like Sam Darnold. I think that, they can, release the pacifier from him and let him actually go out there and be a man. Because guess what? When you're a rookie quarterback, right? And obviously he's not a rookie no more, but he was last year. You can't have the quarterback with a pacifier in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? You got to allow him to throw the ball, all right? Yes, he's going to make his mistakes. And he made his fair share of mistakes last year. But at the same time, it comes with growth. You know what I'm saying? You get the experience, and you start slinging it. And that's something that's going to have to happen with Drew Lock because we saw him last night. When the Broncos played the Falcons. The brother, he was missing wide open dimes, whatever. Just allow him to sling it. And he's going to be able to transcend and be a quarterback that I think he will be, which is a good, decent NFL quarterback. Now, in closing, this is the last topic, and I'm going to run through this briefly within 2 minutes. I want to shift gears to boxing real quick because Dillian White, obviously, he got busted for PEs or whatever it was, all these substances. I mean, come on, they coming up with all these new adventures or whatever. So whatever the hell that he injected in his arm, he got busted for, and he got his mandatory removed from him, his belt or whatever. So there's reports coming out today that the things that he got busted for that he took a couple months ago or whatever, and he was actually cleared pre and post fight or whatever. I don't know, pre fight he was cleared. I gotta look more into it because I just got the update before I did the show. But regardless of whether he took it last year, I don't care if the brother took it when he was 2. All All right. Y'all know how I feel when it comes to PEDs and substances, especially in the sport of boxing and combat sports and UFC. I said it in the huddle last season. I'm gonna say it again. I'm not with the 3 strikes you're out rule. I'm not with that, because if a black man could do absolutely nothing and go to prison for 25 years or whatever, a guy injecting himself to hurt somebody's son or whatever should be able to do the time. It should be a lifetime ban. First strike. I know it sounds harsh, but guess what? This world is harsh. America is harsh. Life is harsh. 1 strike and you're out. That's how I feel. Because if you say 3 strikes you're out, then the player gonna be like, all right, I got 3 times. I can do this 2 times. All right. Boom. Inject myself. Okay. I got how many times I got? I got 1 more. Inject myself. You know, and suspensions like of 6 months. Fighters fight every 6 months. Fighters fight 6 to 8 months. So you basically giving them more time off that they would have had anyway. So I don't understand it. Jerome Miller can be busted 3 times. 3 times. All right, for taking PDs or whatever in the wake of his fight against Joshua that should have been, obviously was canceled. But Joshua, we saw how Joshua looked against Andy Ruiz. The brother went from a Greek-looking god to Pillsbury Dork Boy after the fight was over. I mean, come on. You imagine a guy like that with 3 PEDs would have did to that brother. So I think giving him a 6-month suspension for that is a total joke. I believe boxing, to some degree, the politics of boxing is a total joke, and I believe they need to stiffen up on these rules, because at the end of the day, we just lost 2 boxers last week. All right, and I like Adrian Broner's response. I mean, I thought it was hilarious when they asked Adrian Broner what he thought about the 2 boxers losing his life. The brother said, "Nigga, I'm from the hood. Niggas die every day, B." I mean, all right, yeah, we know that, but still, what is it going to take is it going to take somebody dying, and then after the fight, it shows that the brother took drugs and substances and steroids? That's what it's going to take for, penalizations to be stiffer? Why should it take that? Why should it take somebody losing their life? So I think personally they need to do a lifetime ban for the first offense, because guess what? If people got whatever it is in their hand, because I don't take that stuff, so I don't know how it look. I don't know in the form of it look. I mean, it could be staring at me right now. I wouldn't know how it is or what it is, whatever. So people want to inject themselves, right? If they know they got a lifetime ban on the first offense, they're going to be like, you know what? I could inject myself right now. But you know what? I'm going to lose out on the big payday, and I'm going to lose my boxing license, ladies and gentlemen. It's common sense. Yeah, you might not prevent everybody from doing it, but I feel like you're going to prevent the person right now who's planning on doing it right now as we speak on the Real Leel Show. Because guess what? There's always somebody planning. There's always somebody trying to get above somebody and bend the rules. It's America. That's what it is. And that pretty much wraps up another episode of the Real Leel Show. And I'll see y'all next week. We out.